We begin the news by telling you that the federal government has declared Thursday, June 12, 2025, as a public holiday to mark this year's Democracy Day celebration. The announcement was made by Minister of Interior, Dr. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, who congratulated Nigerians on 26 years of uninterrupted democratic rule. He described June 12 as a symbol of the nation's enduring commitment to truth, justice, and peace, reflecting the strength and resilience of the Nigerian people. The minister emphasized that democracy is a continuous journey open to improvement and growth. He also reaffirmed the commitment of the Bola Tinubu administration to democratic values rooted in the freely expressed will of the people across all sectors of national life. Nigeria's Minister for Budget and Economic Planning, Atiku Bagudu, says that plans have been put in place to balance public spending with national development priorities. Bagudu made this known after a meeting with President Bola Tinubu in Lagos State. He says that the visit is also an opportunity to brief the president on steps being taken.
What we are suffering worse than the developed countries is underinvestment. So how do you correct underinvestment? Bold and courageous leadership says that you must cut waste. Subsidies are costing us a lot of money, both fuel subsidies, foreign exchange subsidy, and even electricity subsidy. The coordinating minister and I, Wale Edu, met with Bill Gates a few days ago, and we are happy with the stamp of approval, of confidence. Nigerians should know that economists are judged, successful economists are judged by their abilities to attract investment. We need investment in everything. Most of our failing is under investment. Security, we have not been funding it because we don't have the resources. Education, health, agriculture. So now we have taken steps that can lead to correcting those decades of underinvestment, and that is what will take Nigeria and to the pride of place we all hope President Asuwaju will take it to.
Away from that, the 2025 Ojude Oba Festival is underway in Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State, kicking off one of Nigeria's most iconic cultural celebrations. Famed for its vibrant displays of tradition, regal attire, and daring horse-riding pageantry, the festival draws thousands of visitors from across Nigeria and the diaspora. The town is buzzing with activity, welcoming dignitaries, tourists, and returning indigents for a celebration that blends deep cultural pride with economic opportunity. The Ojude Oba continues to shine as both a cultural spectacle and a key driver of local tourism and trade. We'll come back to you on that. Now, as part of Eid al-Kabir festivities, the ancient and colorful tradition of the Durbar returned to the streets of Kefi with all its pomp and pageantry. Now, the event, which brings together royalty, horsemen, and spectators, is more than just a parade. It is a symbol of history, unity, and pride. News Central's correspondent Sumaya Abubakar witnessed the spectacle and brings us this report.
In a burst of color, rhythm, and royal heritage, the Durbar of Kefi stomps through the streets once again, a breathtaking celebration marking Eid al-Kabir and centuries of culture. From early afternoon, crowds lined the roads to catch a glimpse of the majestic horsemen adorned in traditional attire, flanked by palace guards and praise singers.
Our Durbar is all about culture, and a man that has passion about my culture. And you know, culture is a way of life. So we need to cherish it. We need to support our culture.
At the heart of the Durbar is the Emir, symbolizing authority and unity, welcomed with chants and admiration by a sea of jubilant spectators.
What I love about it is because of the beautiful show of different outfits and its tradition and culture, so and it's very exciting to watch. All the chairs and then the atmosphere too. The fact that there are a lot of people, as you can see everywhere, so it makes it amazing to watch.
While the celebration has deep historical roots, for many, it's also a family tradition passed from one generation to the next.
I love horses and I rode one 2 years ago, but I would love to do that again.
The Durbar isn't just for entertainment, it reenacts old tales of bravery and honor, once used to prepare warriors and unite kingdoms.
The emir will get to meet his people because some of the places he follows the road is where he is not normally going that way, and the people do not have the opportunity to see him one-on-one. And going this way gives him the opportunity to go and meet with these people one-on-one. And in that light, they will also come to cheer and see him. And as he's going, normally he distributes kola nuts and other things to the citizenry of his emirate.
As the dust settles and the drums fade, the memory of this year's Durbar lives on, not just in photos and cheers, but in the pride of a people keeping tradition alive.
From the dazzling riders to the spirited crowd, the Durbar remains a colorful reminder that tradition, when celebrated, binds the communities together. In Kefi, for News Central, Sumaya Abubakar.
Well, Sumaya Abubakar joins us live for more on the Eid al-Adha celebration in the ancient city of Kefi. Sumaya, thank you for joining us. Now, let us in on how the celebrations in Kefi went. All right, we'll try and link up with Sumaya in a bit. Now, still on Eid al-Adha celebration, thousands of Abuja residents marked the joyous occasion of Eid al-Adha with prayers, communion with loved ones, and community gatherings. Two of the city's most popular locations, the Millennium Park and the Jabi Lake Park, became vibrant centers of celebration as friends and families came together to observe the special holiday. News Central correspondent Bettina Angweli reports.
Under clear skies and a festive spirit, the Millennium Park in Abuja was alive with color, music, and the warm sounds of celebration as the city's Muslim faithful gathered to mark Eid Mubarak. From early morning prayers at local mosques to picnic-style feasts and cultural displays, the park offered a peaceful yet jubilant atmosphere for both worship and leisure.
The importance of Eid al-Adha, before this is the time of when people go to pilgrimage. After the pilgrimage, we celebrate by thanking Almighty Allah for the provision of everything.
I'm the most happiest woman in the world today. First of all, I'm celebrating my 70th birthday. 70 is not easy. It's by God's mercy and His grace. Secondly, today is Salah and it falls on Friday again. Double portion. The third one, I'm taking another grandson. At the age of 70, this is the baby there. So, Ore Oluwa, David Ore Oluwa.
Further east, Jabi Lake Park also played host to large crowds, many of whom came to enjoy boat rides, traditional music, and local delicacies sold by street vendors. The lakeside was filled with families, children playing, and groups taking selfies against the serene waterfront.
It really means a lot. We do celebrate Salah because some people say we have big Salah and small Salah, but to me it's not. There's no big Salah and there's no small Salah, because the Salah, I fasted for 30 days or 29 days, and then they're going to call that one small Salah, and the one I did not fast, they're going to call it big Salah. It does not make sense to me. So Salah is actually Salah. We celebrate Salah. We thank God for allowing us to see another new year.
Actually not a Muslim, and but it's a holiday. Holidays for everyone. So I'm joining the Muslim in unity to celebrate their feast, Salah. I really do not know exactly what Salah means particularly, but I know it's something like Christmas.
The Salah celebration means to me that all Muslims and at the same and some Christians can join us to celebrate. I enter bike and the sheep that they are coming in.
As the sun sets over Abuja, the joy of Eid was unmistakable, a celebration of faith, togetherness, and the enduring spirit of community. In Abuja, for News Central, Bettina Unwili.
The news returns after the break. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Well, right about now, we will be going back to the Ojude-Oba Festival happening live in Ijebu Ode in Ogun State. And we have our correspondent, Igbalani Amoni, on standby to give us an update on this. Igbalani, thank you so much for joining. If you can hear me, please go ahead and share with us what are some of the major highlights so far.
Okay, so the paying of homage is done. Majority, or if I can say all, of the age grades have paid homage to their Ujale, which is supposed to be, which he was a procession from this side of, to my left-hand side, there to where the VIPs are seated, and when they pay their homage, they leave. But now the hearse riders have taken over, and it is important to reiterate that only the family or the tribe or clan of the Baloguns, who are called the warriors, are the only ones who ride hearse. And I'm here with a member of one of the Balogun.
Balogun Tuibo.
How did they come about that name in the first place?
Right, I think it's the first Balogun that buys Balogun with money. The real fighters.
The real fighters.
Yeah, the real fighters.
Run us through how this horse parade works. What exactly do they look out for, and is it like a competition?
Yeah, it's more like an awareness, not really a competition, because everybody wants to show off, everybody wants to be seen, everybody wants to be the one in the picture. Do you understand? Because last year you can see pictures is what people is looking after.
Like what and what did your team prepare for? Like, is there a particular movement your horse is going to be doing, or is there a particular movement your rider is going to initiate on the horse?
Yes, of course, every rider has a stunt they pull out. So we are looking forward to a particular stunt for my horse. When we come here, and there's going to be a lot of attraction. So Balogun Butuibo is coming in from outside, so they're yet to come in. So once they come in now, you see the attraction.
I'll be looking out for you in case your Balogun clan wins, so that we can have this conversation. A tribe of the Balogun family who
All right, well, we seem to be having connection issues with Igbalani, but while the festivity is still, ongoing, we will still reconnect with him in the course of this bulletin. Meanwhile, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, has restated the resolve of the Nigerian Army to continually defend the nation's territorial integrity against her adversaries. Now, the Army Chief was speaking in Jos, the Plateau State capital, during his cellular luncheon with troops of 3 Armored Division and Operation Safe Haven to mark this year's Eid al-Adha celebration. News Central's Chizoba Nyongwe completes the report.
The Eid celebration was marked in a special way for these troops of the 3 Armored Division and those of Operation Safe Haven. It was an avenue for these personnel and troops to unwind. The Chief of Army Staff, represented at the event, commended the troops for their effort and resilience in maintaining adequate security.
Your unwavering commitment, sacrifice and resilience in the service of our beloved country are deeply appreciated and honored during this season of reflection and gratitude. Indeed, Eid-el-Kabir is a significant festival that highlights the essential virtue of sacrifice as a nation and a reminder of the strength found in selflessness and compassion towards others.
The GOC 3 Armored Division and Commander Operation Safe Haven, Major General Folusho Oyinlola, says the spirit of togetherness among the troops will consolidate to more gains.
We have traded family celebrations for mission uncertainty. You have accepted hardship so that our communities might live in safety. We salute your resilience, courage, and unswerving commitment to the cause of stability. Today, we honor you. Let this celebration strengthen the bonds of brotherhood and sisterhood forged in the crucible of service. As we felicitate together, know that your sacrifices have not gone unnoticed, and that your families at home share in our gratitude and respect.
The Salah luncheon was climaxed when the troops were served by senior officers and some invited guests, an act of humility and appreciation. In Plateau State, for News Central, Chizoba Anyowi.
Now we turn to Benue State, where renewed violence in Akpa and Gwer West local government areas has left dozens dead and several communities displaced following coordinated attacks by suspected armed herders. Joining us live from Naka, the headquarters of Gwer West, is Chief Daniel Abomte, the Te Tiohing and traditional ruler of the area, whose palace was among several structures set ablaze by angry youths earlier in March. Now, the March 11 incident came after community members accused political and traditional leaders of not doing enough to halt the killings. As the area continues to recover from fresh attacks and mounting insecurity, we speak with the royal father about leadership under fire, the community's losses, and what support is most urgently needed. Daniel Abomte, the Te Tiohing and traditional ruler of Naka, joins me now. Thank you so much for joining me, Your Royal Highness, on the news. Can you hear me, sir? All right, well, if you can hear me, Your Royal Highness, in the wake of the recent attacks in Gwer West and neighboring Akpa local government area, what can you tell us about the extent of destruction and displacement your people have suffered? Hello, if you can hear me, what can you tell us about the extent of destruction that your people have suffered? All right, we'll move on from that now. In the past few weeks, some parts of Delta State, South Nigeria, have come under a series of coordinated attacks carried out by suspected herdsmen and kidnappers, leaving an unconfirmed number of persons killed and many still in the kidnappers' den. How are the state government, local government chairmen, and traditional rulers in the oil-rich Niger Delta State tackling the insecurity ravaging their people and causing food insecurity amidst Nigeria's worsening economy? News Central correspondent Austin Azu in this special report tells us more.
kidnappers will target victims. Insecurity reigns in Delta states, where the forests have become hideouts for killer herdsmen and kidnappers who target victims from different locations in the state. The ravaging insecurity challenges have forced many farmers to abandon their farmlands with their crops yet to be harvested, and many can no longer live in their built houses due to this scourge. Only recently, the Seluku Kingdom in Delta State placed curses on kidnappers and killer herdsmen who have caused them tears and pains. Worried about the escalating tension of incessant kidnappings and killings in Abraka, some individuals in the university community staged a peaceful protest to register their grievances and call on the governments and relevant authorities to wipe out these kidnappers and killer herdsmen from their bushes and forests. The protesters were eventually dislodged by soldiers, allegedly resulting in injuries to some of the protesters.
They don't shoot person. They don't shoot person. Army don't shoot person. I am not shoot person. I am not shoot person.
A day after, the local hunters, in collaboration with the Nigeria police, recorded some achievements against the kidnappers.
Oh boy. Where the magazine? Oh boy. Nice one, nice one. Nice one, nice one.
But how are the local government chairmen and traditional rulers tackling these insecurity challenges in their areas?
Pleading with the federal government and the state government to relocate criminal herdsmen from my kingdom, because there's a difference between people from the north and criminal element. We give God the glory that the situation is under control.
Insecurity has taken an international dimension, and we're trying to deal with it locally. And we are dealing with it. You know, it's not something. It's not a one-off thing. The processes are on, and by the grace of God, the tension is already doused.
Meanwhile, at an emergency security meeting summoned by the state governor, Sheriff Oborewori, announced plans to adopt modern technology to tackle crimes across the state.
I've called you here so that we can share ideas and suggestions on how to tackle the persistent threats to peace and public safety in the state. As a matter of urgency, we need to identify the remote and immediate causes as well as profile lasting solutions to the following security challenges. 1. Renewed spate of kidnapping. 2. Rising cases of court clashes and court-related killings. 3. Drug abuse and trafficking and ritual killings, including other security issues that we know. Our government has been collaborating with security agencies to coordinate raids on black spots around the state.
As the people of Delta State continue to worry about the rising insecurity in parts of the state, expectations remain that in the coming days, residents will be able to sleep with their two eyes closed. In Asaba, for News Central, Austin Azu.
Well, we're going back to Benue State, where I'm told that we have been able to reconnect with Daniel Abomte, the Te Tushin and traditional ruler of Naka, joining me now to speak on the insecurity. Good evening, sir. Good afternoon, sir, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. So I was actually asking earlier, in the wake of the recent attacks in Gwer West and neighboring Akwa local government area, can you tell us about the extent of destruction and displacement that you and your people have suffered?
Surely, my local government is an epicenter of the Holocaust and the genocide attacks. It is very devastating. It started on 8th of February 2011, and it has lingered on up to date. But the attacks have taken a multi-dimension, and the bandits in my domain, they have a motley of personnel, and the wall is asymmetrical, it's amorphous. These people, they come as herders with their animals, graze on every available crops cultivated, chase out the natives. Another group will move in with the aim, and their aim is to occupy and maim and kill. Another one comes in and carry out the work of kidnapping and keeping people into their kidnapped cells and taking huge amount of money as ransom. As a result, I have lost concomitantly for a period of 15 years, 676 persons into the hands of these marauding killer herdsmen. As I talk to you, one cannot traverse the Makudi-Naka Road, which is just within a distance of 40 kilometers. The bandits are everywhere, stationed on several spots to commit mayhem. Along the line, if you move from a local government headquarters to a satellite town called Agagbe, on the northeastern direction, bordering Doma LGA in Nasarawa State, which I describe as axis of evil, because the people, the killer herdsmen, the terrorists, the insurgents, move from Doma local government that has a conterminous and contiguous borders with me, and unleash the havoc on my people. You cannot move on Naka-Agagbe Road with just a 15-kilometer road distance. Similarly, you cannot equally ply on Naka-Tarako Road with just 40 kilometers. And also within a short distance between my local government and Idoma local government, that is Agatu and Otukpo local government, within Adoka axis, you cannot, because the bandits have taken siege of the entire axis of the road I've just enumerated. Okay. It's a pitiable situation. I am in charge of 15 council wards that constitute, or you call them districts, you call them wards, that made up the local government. All of us are pushed, and we are now living in desolate camps within the headquarters.
Well, it's quite a pitiable, situation, Your Royal Highness, and we commiserate with you on that. Now, but your own palace and the homes of other prominent leaders were burnt by angry youths in March. How do you respond, to the accusations that traditional rulers and political leaders have failed to protect the people?
Our duty is to shield our people. Our duty is to advise government. And we are not granted constitutional powers, which we have been crying for decades. We can only bark, but we can't bite. As a result, the situation in my local government, as it relates to the civil disturbance of March 11, that occasioned the burning of my palace and extensions and other individuals, has to do with some restive youth. Yes, the reasons are not far-fetched. They thought maybe I have the powers to direct the security personnel to do what they want. Well, I don't have such powers. My own is to advise the government. And to the best of my knowledge, I've not only stopped at advising, I've been even writing humble appeal to government at the federal And I can assure you that our governor responded positively and took pragmatic steps in curtailing the excesses of the killings within my local government. But the youth, among them, some could behave very animalistic, and such was what happened. And I don't even blame them because they are hungry, they have been pushed away from their localities, and they are living in desolate camps, IDP, scattered across the local government for a number of years. The Holocaust in my local government lasts for 15 years. All that happens in Benue started from my local government. As I told you earlier, on 8th of February 2011, and has lingered on to date. We're only seeing a moment of respite now that we have a governor that is having, the ears of the people and also listening to their yearnings and aspirations. And he has moved in, and we are now beginning to see light at the end of the tunnel. For the youths, I have given them my pardon. I granted them pardon. Because they acted as hungry people. An angry person or a hungry person, as what people say, is not a friendly person.
Okay.
So let us engage them meaningfully.
Now, you talked about, having not having the powers to direct security personnel. Speak to us more on this and on your assessment of the military and police's response, during the attacks, during and after the attacks, by the way. How have security forces done, or do you think that they've done enough to secure Gwer West?
Yes, the security personnel are doing their best, but they need to do more. Because from my own assessment and collective assessment of my people, we watch over security personnel, their role in curtailing this. But remember, the military itself is not trained to mediate in internal wrangling or internal affairs. They are trained to defend the territorial integrity of the nation. The police has the primary duty in doing that. We in Nigeria, we are only overstretching the military. That's not even their primary role. To us here in Gwer West, we can assess them, we can give them their pass mark, but they need to do more because some of them have derived what I would describe as occupational relief in their areas of assignment. That is, there is need for the authority concerned that looks after them to be rejigging the personnel within intervals in order not to allow them slip or slide into occupational relief where they have tendencies of compromising what they have been brought actually to do. And advise that I think that has been done now when the chief of army staff came to Benue. We are seeing, steps he has taken in rejigging the personnel. Like those in my local government have been moved, and I've seen some of them moving out today, another group coming in. That's the best because don't allow a military person or a security person to stay in a place where there's crisis for up to 3 years without rejigging them. That will not, give a better result. And I think that has been heeded too. And to us in Benue and to us in Gwer West, we would prefer the situation where the police who are trained to maintain and intervene in issues like civil disturbances should be given that ample opportunity. But where we have cases of insurgency, banditry, the military can be, deployed in as the current situation in Gwer West is absolute terrorism.
All right, if you can hear me now, moving forward, what is your honest submission to the federal government and Benue state authorities, especially on what must be done to bring lasting peace to Gwer West and similar communities under threat?
I have to appreciate President Bola Tinubu for allowing the issue of forest gas to be a reality in place of, maybe I don't think it is in place of the what we intended doing the state police. But that has come to stay, to be. I applaud him for that. We will queue in communities where such things, such crises exist, to queue into that and then recruit their youths into forest guards to offer self-defense of their places. And one thing we must do is that we must tackle this case, this issue of invasion of communities by armed bandits or armed criminals across the nation by taking decisive action in closing up our borders with proper and effective monitoring of our borders to secure our borders.
All right.
In order to prevent these people who must, at most we can say they are non-Nigerians.
Yeah. All right,
to stop their migration into Nigeria. And also on our home front, we must devise internal mechanism of dealing with this situation. Most particular, security personnel deployed to handle issues of this nature should keep to their rules of engagement.
Your Highness, sadly we have to wrap up this conversation here, but thank you so much for your time and for speaking on this. We'll take a break now. When we come back, the news continues. Stay with us. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now, we go back to our correspondent, Maya Abubakar, who is in Kefi at the moment and who witnessed the spectacle of the Eid al-Adha festivities and the Durbar. She would give us an update on how it all went. Maya Abubakar, thank you so much for joining us on the news.
Good afternoon, Dashan, and thank you for having me.
Now, please go ahead and, give us an idea or let us in on how the celebrations went in Kefi.
I mean, it was a beautiful picture. I must say, Dashan, I almost lost my voice from the excitement and the screaming. I caught myself, I just realized that I was part of the spectators of the beautiful display of tradition, cultures, colors, and bravery, because we all know how risky it is riding a horse and even bringing out some sort of a cultural, dance to it. It was really majestic. This is something that is done a day after the Eid, every Eid al-Adha. And for Kefi, of course, it's no exception to that. So yesterday was a display of that culture. People were out, I'm telling you, from 4 p.m., even though this procession was supposed to be by 5 to 5:15. But then there was so much excitement, and the number of people that turned out was massive. It was really great. Really beautiful picture to watch. The king came out with his own entourage, horses and display this traditional attires. You all know how lovely that can be. And of course, the people were not left behind. Now, while people are lining up, at the side of the road, waiting for all of these people to come, like I said, every title man has his own entourage. And most of them come before the king. Then I think 2 to 3 people will come after the king. So for every family, they have their own supporters right beside them. So when somebody, comes in and walks by with their own entourage, there's so much screaming at the top of their voice. I think that was where I almost lost my own voice with so much excitement. But this is a tradition the people have shown would continue until at least the end of time. It's something that Africans should be really proud of. And for the northern part of the country, the Hawan Daba is something that we always look forward to at the Eid al-Adha.
Well, just before we let you go, can you quickly tell us, give us an idea of this year's celebration as compared to last year? How has it evolved?
Oh, massively it has evolved. I would say the numbers, the turnout. Now, last year, people were, I don't know if it was a bit reluctant due to some level of insecurity that was happening. That was last year. But this year, there seemed to be, a subtle now in terms of that. So it was really loud. Most people last year also traveled to the Hajj in Saudi Arabia. So it was a bit scanty. But also the title men and even the people stayed back home. just to join in this procession. So they came in their numbers. There was massive spending of money to beautify the attire because it cost a lot of money, and the spectators also came en masse. So it was a kind of everybody was just ready to come back home and enjoy the beauty of the Hawan Daba. Now, Daba is always celebrated here, and it was looking so wonderful and so colorful. And last year, there was no eagerness to, witness this year. But then this year, now people are saying, we want to see what next year will bring. So the display of cultures, of course, cannot be overemphasized.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Samaya, for that. Away from Nigeria, Rwanda has exited the Economic Community of Central African States, citing political bias and manipulation by the Democratic Republic of Congo. The announcement came Saturday, the same day as the ECCAS summit in Malabo, where Rwanda was denied its turn to assume the bloc's rotating presidency. In a strongly worded statement, Kigali accused ECCAS of being instrumentalized by the DRC, calling the move a violation of the community's founding treaty. Rwanda was replaced by Equatorial Guinea, which will now serve a second consecutive term. Tensions between Rwanda and the DRC remain high, fueled by ongoing clashes in eastern Congo involving the M23 rebel group, which Kinshasa claims is backed by Kigali. And now in the world of sports, Merab Dvalishvili retains the UFC bantamweight champion after a dominant win over Sean O'Malley at UFC 316 in New Jersey. Now the machine controlled the fight from the start, matching O'Malley's striking and overpowering him on the ground. He sealed it in round 3 with a slick chokehold to force the tap. In the co-main event, Kayla Harrison claimed the women's bantamweight title, submitting Juliana Pena in round 2. The Olympic judo champ then called out Amanda Nunes, who agreed to a potential super fight. Also on the main card, Kevin Holland, Joe Pfeiffer, and Mario Bautista all picked up big wins. And that's all at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of our major stories. We told you that federal government declares Thursday, June 12, 2025, a public holiday for Democracy Day. We also told you that Ijebode bursts into color and tradition as Ojude-Oba Festival begins. Finally, you heard that Rwanda quits Economic Community of Central African States and tensions with DRC. Remember, you may send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen. Do follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Darshan Usman.